those of you that have been here for a while, you know me. You know I'm not the most negative person in the world. I might criticize a good bit, but it's all done in an effort to be constructive and try and lead towards a positive outcome and something on the other side. But the 300 Thieves games this week leave me with nothing but just rage at this point, and I can't wait until tomorrow to film this. I have to do this now, and I have to be ready to get this video out there for tomorrow, so you're gonna get pretty much the unfiltered me immediately after whatever the hell that loss was against Team Liquid. Normally with these I try and go like one game through the week and go on, but this is literally a replication of exactly what happened in week 1 for us, where we beat FlyQuest and then we lose the 2 other games in pretty dominant loss fashion. So I don't really think there's any point in talking about the FlyQuest match. They are now 0-3. It's a free win basically if you are just even a competent team at this point, as long as you're not Immortals. So it's like, why am I going to waste the time on that? Real quick though, if you do like my YouTube content, be sure to subscribe down below. I put 4 videos out a week, so you'll be getting a ton of League of Legends and New York City content each and every week. Let's start with Team Liquid, because we're fresh off this game, and oh my god. We pick a mid-game team comp. Nautilus, Kai'Sa, Akali, Sejuani, Renekton. Renekton is the only champ that has a little bit of prowess in the early game, because in the mid lane, you're going against the Ziggs, who's going to be able to wave clear, and Akali can't do shit until she's 6. In the bot lane, you're going against the Draven Thresh. You can't do anything. At least early. You just wait until mid-game team fights, go in at an even state, and hope all is well. But we decide, for whatever reason, to fight level 1. And that's primarily on Busio for that, for taking 4 autos from Thresh and putting us in a position where we have to blow pretty much everything before level 2 happens, ruining the wave. But as bad as that was, it's just this recurring theme over and over and over again of Closer being nowhere to be found in this situation. And I just don't get it. This is 2 games now. This happened exactly the same yesterday, where we go up against EG, and it just feels like Armeo's the best jungler in the world, and Closer's out farming while things are happening. Now, granted, bot lane went better yesterday. I'm not getting in the game too. In this situation, Pyosik on Wukong was able to gank bot lane after we knew that all of our sons were down and they were easily going to dive us bot. Closer was nowhere to be found. After that, Closer's nowhere to be found again. He's on top, or whatever the camp is, right next to mid lane, farming while Quid gets dove. Again, like, what? And I don't want people taking this out on Quid either, because Quid was even on CS and keeping up the entire game, despite getting ganked from top lane, getting pressure from Wukong jungle the entire time, and Closer's just somewhere out in freaking Narnia doing something else. Like, oh. 1 kill participation this entire game. How? How do you only have 1? Oh, let's go back to that bot lane dive real quick. The TP down. Why 2 days in a row now does Sunday have to TP bot to try and help cover a dive, because Closer's nowhere close when you know it's coming? Anybody with a gold brain can see that the bot dive is coming, and where are we at? Sure, you can make the argument, maybe bot lane shouldn't do these types of things that would get us in positions to get dove. Sure, but then afterwards, you're not reacting appropriately. Like, oh my god. We had moments where it looked like we were at least fighting, which is good. Last split, had this happen, we would have just rolled over and died, and just would have given up the game. And it would have been even more miserable than it is now. But at least in this scenario, Doublelift was still ulting in, trying to get kills. Akali was still trying to do stuff. Like, Quid and Doublelift were playing well. Doublelift playing easily the best on the team right now by a wide margin. And it just feels like there's nothing around them. There's no cohesion. Oh, another moment. We're sending 4 top to dive, and we can't get the kill. On top of that, the first gank that Closer has in top lane, we get nothing from it. From, I believe, a flashless rumble. How? Oh, it's frustrating as a fan, because You see this, and you see your year slipping away. It doesn't mean you give up hope. By all means, I'm still going to sit here and pray to God that we make a run in best of fives and we clean up our stuff and Closer figures whatever's going on with him out by playoffs. I know Raz said in the pregame that Closer obviously has a weaker regular season. That's fine, but it can't be this bad. He's never, ever been this low in the regular season, even during those slumps. But like, it's so hard to sit here and just continue to be optimistic when you know, like, we're 3 weeks away from our split ending, our year ending, and it all being done. And that is a terrifying feeling, because then you have no games until next year, until next January. It's August. That means you have 5 months. It's July now, assuming we get knocked out before finals weekend or during finals weekend and don't go to Worlds. You have 5 months where you sit there and just wait and have to watch everybody else have fun. And by all means, I'm an NA fan, and by the time Worlds comes around, if we miss Worlds, which given our current form, we will, I will still be there cheering on North America, and as hyped as anybody else. I've done that every year, regardless of whether 100 Thieves or my team, especially Optic back in like 2018, 2019, whenever my fandom was at its, I will still ultimately come back around and cheer us on. No problem. But it's just like, that off season sucks so bad. And in a world where it just feels like everything around the LCS is collapsing as well, like us not playing well, just adds icing to the cake. Let's go back to Game 2 against EG. Jojopian's still MVP candidate of the split, even though they just lost to EG now. Like, he's clearly still playing amazing. He beat Quid pretty handedly in that lane, but I got to talk to Nuke Duck, and I'll throw the bit of the interview here and actually remember to throw in the interview this time around.
Okay, so Quid, well, I will say first, Quid can play like everything, in my opinion. So like, that's more like a decision, you know, just to pick Azir. Though I did think that it's like, the draft was trash, like that in my opinion. So like, I agree with that. It's not because, you know, Quid can only play Azir, that's not why it's bad, but in my opinion, this draft was like, you know, it was like kind of like a failure, you know. So it was a situation where we had a lot of voices in the draft, and a lot of people kind of just wanted different stuff on the fly. So we're definitely gonna talk about that, about like how we did things, because like, yeah, I just think like we were kind of disadvantaged from the draft too. So yeah,
we can't be losing drafts this hard on red side. Like, it just amazes me, because it's like red side's the side that you should have counter pick and just be able to just counter every move that the enemy wants to do. And then when you show your hand so early and then you're so predictable and readable afterwards, it's like, what? And him confirming that like Quid Azir is not a handicap. Like, we're not just putting Quid on Azir because he has to, and that's been shown in the Akali games and some of the other games that he's had. Like, he's not just an Azir player. They just did that there because, from the sounds of it, like, they couldn't decide on anything else, and there were too many cooks in the kitchen on this. But it's like, now, circling back to where we're at in standings, the schedule for next week, and where expectations were coming into this week. I said last week, 1 and 2 is reasonable. So by that metric, we're technically fine, and we hit exactly the benchmark that I wanted. It's just the way we looked against those teams is a problem, and I said that. We had to look competitive in these games against EG or TL to start building some momentum and keep going. And we didn't look competitive at all against either of them. And that's a very hard pill to swallow. So going into next week, and I'll be honest with you, what you're seeing on screen right now, I don't know. I don't know our schedule for next week. I forgot to check before I started recording this. If we have games against Immortals, TSM, NRG, or Dignitas, we have to win them. Everybody else above us, I, at this point, fully expect us to lose. I mean, we might be able to pull off an upset or two, but that's really about it. And until we start showing form that is better, specifically Closer, and looking at Busio a little bit as well, the Nautilus just might not be it, but I've seen him play Pyke and other aggressive champions that we just can't seem to unlock with this playstyle for whatever reason. We're in trouble. we're not seeing those signs of improvement that you should be seeing. And it's one thing to have like a falter week as, Kane and Quid get adjusted, but like we're on such a tight time schedule now that you gotta start ramping up. You gotta start showing signs, because if you falter and you drop down to that 7th, 8th place, because TSM might actually get a win here over Golden Guardians, we could be in trouble. And we need that double elimination. We need as much time as humanly possible in playoffs for Closer to finally get his skeletons out of his closet, and for our rookies in Quid and Busio to get more best of 5 experience on the big stage. This week just hurt. Just absolutely hurt to watch. Just, oh man. I'm not going to go on anymore. I got all my feelings out. I honestly feel better. This is very therapeutic to a certain extent, to just be able to lash out to us. Well, it's not really lashing out. I didn't really criticize anybody too bad other than Closer, which, if he ever sees this, bro, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to lie at the same time. I just hope we can get our stuff together for playoffs. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And we'll see how we do next week. But we only got 2 weeks left of the regular season. And then our life is literally on the line. So, who knows? Only time will tell. Be sure to drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the pit for Monday, or on Monday for the pit, whatever it is. Adios.